Morning, everyone. This is Trend Follower this side, and it's time for our weekly analysis, weekly forecasting, weekly plans. So, the agenda of today's video would be all around finding our point of interest, the zones which we really care about throughout the week, the zones we should keep an eye on. But I would like to do something different, which is some of the areas, zones I would like to sh make in front of you so that it makes sense, so that you understand the reasoning behind it. I really believe if you are in those trades, you can only hold them if you understand the whole picture, the depth of the point of interest, and the reasoning behind it. So let's just begin. Before any technical analysis, I always try to make sure to know what is the news this week because that can always bring volatility. Plus, what are the currency strengths and weakness, which we'll see later. So let's start with the news this week. What I would say this week is there isn't much in terms of news. If you see a lot of bank holidays, of course, it's Christmas week. But other than that, on red folder, I just see CAD, GDP, JPY a little bit, but USD unemployment claim. So we'll give most importance to CAD, GDP, and USD unemployment claims. JPY is in a weird state, in my opinion, and I want the chart to get little more clear. We can talk about it later. So the next news would be in a week like this would be orange folder news, and the one I see would be Australian dollar monetary policy meeting minutes. So that's it. So let's reiterate. CAD would be the first because it's at the start of the week, CAD, and then USD red folder, and then Australian dollar. But initial part of the week, I think CAD and Australian dollar would be the most important. Uh, yeah, so that's kind of it with respect to news. So let's talk about the currency strength indicator, right? So on weekly, we still have Australian dollar. The last signal was 2 weeks back almost, which was Australian dollar's weakness and JPY strength. JPY is in a weird state. That's the area where this showed signal, the strength signal. Right now, we are below that, so we'll not give much importance to this one. And Australian dollar is there, right? Uh, in terms of weekly, in terms of daily, the important signal last time was this one. This one is very important. USD 100 signal and New Zealand 100 weak signal, right? Now, there is a caveat here. When there are reversals possible, that's also when sometimes you see 100, right? So I will be a little bit careful. And that's also based on technical and fundamental analysis. I may go into that in another video, but keep an eye on if you understand COT data. New Zealand COT data is really shouting for reversals. So that's what some of the analysis would be based on. So yeah, that's kind of it. So other than that, GBP was acting stronger. And then Euro has been, right? You see this block, Euro had some strength, right? So what we will focus on is these parts, but mainly in terms of news, CAD did show weakness, so that's good, right? So I this week the currency strength is there in like the weakness is clearly in New Zealand Australian dollar, and the strength is clearly in USD dollar. But the problem is when you see the whole technical chart, the risk to reward in this direction is not favorable, and fundamentally there are chances of reversal in New Zealand and Australian dollar, especially New Zealand dollar, right? But reversals are tough, right? And we don't want to call the bottom or top. So we'll see the chart, we'll try to make sense of it and see if we can catch something, right? So yeah, that's it in terms of news and currency trend. So let's go to the first important one, which is AUDCAD or majorly cash, right? So the reason I have been saying that there is a good chance of reversal is because if you see NZD USD, right? Right, let's go with NZD USD and you look at weekly chart, look at this demand here. Beautiful demand. Beautiful demand. This one is damn good, right? What a great bounce, right? So now if you are trying to short this, can it go below? Sure. What is the probability of bouncing from here? Higher. If it goes below, then also it can bounce, right? The only possibility where you really get a lot of profit if you play for downside is like this. So, but that's low probability move. So we'll let it happen. Let's say it goes till here, right? We'll wait for it to come here and then we'll short it. But right now, I would rather not play short. If you really, really want to play with the recent trend, right, then you can think about shorting somewhere here. But if you want to play, not play, basically, if you don't want to play reversal, I would rather sit out than play short, right? Because of the zone. And you can see this pattern on many USD currencies, which basically means that there can be reversals in few currencies, like strong reversals. And I believe NZD is on the top of that list, New Zealand dollar. But again, as I said, it may be in another video. So let's look at AUDCAD, news and everything. Yes. So here, what I see is I couldn't find like a clean zone. The reason I say that is you see this wick, right? It's not worth targeting or thinking about. I mean, with long wicks, the problem is they can act as liquidity, so it can be very hard to jump. So basically, I don't want to be in a choppy name, so I couldn't find much here, but I will still share what I found here, right? What I really liked about this one is this zone. This zone here, right? So in this zone, if you look at let me see monthly, yeah. So this line here is previous month low, right? Then if you look at this here, weekly, this is a weekly block zone, right? But now let's say we are thinking about reversal and all that. The problem right now is this long wick, right? So it may also act like liquidity. So if we reverse, this area may attract the price, this area may attract the price, right? So what can happen is you cannot just, I would not just take this huge fair value gap and say, oh, it can reverse here. Can it? Sure. But like, I would rather not do that. And the second thing is, we're way down, right? So price moved really fast to come here. So this brings that risk that can it easily just pass through if CAD shows strength, right? But if there is an area which I really, really like is this daily area, right? So not even this 8 hour. So I had this 8 hour. Oh, so let me show this. So I had this 8 hour. Let me show you 8 hour. This block is so beautiful, right? And there's this perfect block here. But let's say if the price attracts, so I think this two confluences would be great. Something like this area. So let me remove this, right? So if I have to short this one, my confluence area is this, where it starts from here, right? So now you have a daily supply, right? Daily supply and 8 hour supply confluence here. So this one is what I really like. The preferred version of this daily supply is here. Let me change it to this one. Uh, so if I have to short this, I would start looking for price action in this area. And if the price action comes here, that's awesome. But you have to be really careful because what I mean by that, I would Look at this. Look at all the bounces in this region. So if it comes here, right, of course, most probably I would assume that it will pull back. If it pulls back, it would be this area and this area, right? So what can happen? Big move there. So when you enter, be sure that you get your risk to reward management correct here, because your 2 RRs or 3 RR, whatever you target, should be possible. It should not be like you enter here, stop loss here, and you're targeting this. This is like very bad risk management. So be careful around that. But for me, if I have to start looking for short, it would be here, right? And then I would try to get 2 RR here or here. If you So that would be my target. Sorry, entry, and target would be somewhere in this region, right? If I get 2 RR here, great. If not, it is what it is. It's better to be careful because of low volume, because of where we are technically. So that's what I wanted to share. How to, like, let's be safe. And now NZD shows that even better. Look at this weekly chart, right? So clean. And look at this, right? So if there is some pullback here, right, I can expect this, it can bounce from here. At least that's what I'm thinking. So rather than shorting, I would rather go long, right? So what you would like to see here is, I think we can target, if we are going long, you can target this region. I think there is a slight chance, good chance that it may come in this region, because price really left a lot of orders here. It really moved fast, and we are in great weekly demand. So I can see at least it comes back here, and there is a good chance it may come back, come till here, right? So if I have to go long, we have a potential demand here in weekly demand region. We have this. So any entry here with stop loss below, or entry here with stop loss below, would be great for targeting this region. That's the way I see NZD here. Now let's look at CAD CHF. Now, CHF pairs are damn interesting. And the reason I say that is because CHF, I think it was last week, basically this move, right? This move here. This move was almost on all pairs where CHF showed a lot of weakness. And then what happened? We are coming back here. And in some pairs like odd and NZD, we even broke this law, which basically means what? But the signal worked, but it worked just for, I guess, 1 week, right? Which means that it can be a good reversal. So this can be a good plan. That's the way I'm thinking about it. Now, CHF last week, if you see any name except USD CHF, because USD was what? The strongest currencies, had started showing weakness. I believe CHF can go down. You can even see in GBPCHF, we have equal high lows, which will come to, and which basically means that this is a liquidity, and there are equal high lows here too. So again, liquidity, right? So I think CHF can continue showing strength, and if you look at CHF futures, look at this monthly chart. Look at this monthly area, right? It's bouncing right from this monthly area. Look at that, like that legit good bounce on daily, right? That's a good bounce with potential demand formed here. And where is this demand being formed? Is it some irrelevant area, or is it a great area? It's from a great monthly area. So I think CHF, after maybe a little bit of pullback, can go up, right? So that's what I think with respect to CHF, that it can really show strength. So let's come back to CAD CHF, why I love this chart, right? So if you look at the trend, what is the trend? Oh, clear downtrend. Like even even the blind can see this. The trend is damn clear, right? Now let's go to weekly. Trend is damn clear. Previous week a good red candle, you're right? None of the candle have up close candles on weekly. So trend is clearly down, right? You don't have to even doubt it. If this was acting strong, where should we have bounced? In this weekly block, right? This one, this one. But what did we do there? We just rejected from there instead. So this line where we could have bounced, we just rejected from there, right? So we kind of just said, oh no, we're not gonna bounce. So I feel that's important to know, right? So that's the weekly line. Let's go to the monthly. Same logic. We should have bounced from here, but what did we do? We just rejected from here, right? So I believe, oh, and the next thing, look at this, right? So there can be a little bit bounce here, but I believe we can test this area. Uh, so what my plan of action is, like this. I think we can get a small bounce and then we go short. And there are reasons I think about this, right? The reason is basically uh this area, this kind of action is not just on CADCHF, it's on many, many other names, right? And we'll go through some names which I think are beautiful. So CADCHF is that. Let's go to, oh no, not this. Where is our list? Yeah. So CADCHF was that. I think this is a great chart. Let's go to GBPCAD, right? Now, if you saw what is the probability of this bounce? Good probability according to me. What is the probability of this bounce? Again, good according to me. What is the probability of this? Right? So all of our plans are pointing to one thing, which is CAD can be weak, right? So with GBP CAD also there's a theme, right? Which is what I'm focusing on. Let me, I don't want to remove this completely, but there is this weekly level here. I'll just keep this here, right? So this is monthly. Oh, sorry. So this would be monthly level. Let's go to weekly, okay? Right? And this is the weekly level. So now let's zoom in, right? Remember, this was the monthly level here, right? Here somewhere, right? So if this was the monthly level, this bounce is coming from what? Monthly level. This bullish engulfing is where? Monthly level, right? So that's important to know so that the importance of zones here is higher. Now, what's the downside? The downside is we didn't have an up close candle, right? So we have to be a little bit careful. So this is the weekly area. And what I really like is there's too much demand here, a lot of confluence here. Uh, what I don't like is it has been tested once, right? So what I would like to see personally is if something like this is to do, right? That I would like to be safe and just see if we can take this area or this area, right? So let's say you target this area. I want an entry such that the stop loss is below this and target is this, and I get my 2 RR. Now you have to define that yourself, or you can target this. If you're targeting this and price comes here, I would move my stop loss to break even. That would be my advice. Can it break this? Sure, sure, 100%. But I would rather be safe and take my 2 RR. One thing to note is if it comes here at the start of the week, then which I doubt, but like we have to plan accordingly, right? Then be careful. I would rather have start of the week pull back and then up, right? I would rather have that. So that would be my GBP CAD. If it goes below this, I would not re-enter. I would rather be safe. but I think there is a good possibility of this action. So there is a pattern if you see between GBPCAD, CADCHF, and NZDCAD, and this pattern is showing on all charts with good technical zones also. So that's why I think these are very strong patterns here. You can choose either whatever you like, whichever you want to trade, but that this would be my first watch list, like my first priority, right? So let's rename this to first priority. Okay. Now I don't want to go much into second priority, like much as in like much detail, but I will give you my thought pattern. What is happening is we have these great confluences in these where USD did act strong, right? So, but there are chances of reversals also, but nothing reverses straight. Like you will not see a weekly like this unless it's a big damn news. So all I'm saying is, if you take a shot of any name according to this trend, which is not wrong to take a shot, just don't stay and say, oh, it can break weekly low. Can it? Yes. But if you get your profits, don't be greedy there. So here, the good zone I see is this daily zone. There's a nice weekly and monthly confluence also here. But if you ask me, right? This can be a weekly supply, right? So you're also shorting the weekly supply. My only cautionary part would be this long wick will attract price, so it can do this, and then whatever, right? So be careful with respect to risk management. I think this is a good zone, and this is a good zone. In both cases, be careful because even this zone has level on top of level, right? So be careful with that. Like, I think there would be a pullback on either of these or both of these, but like to expect the pullback to just break the low is something we are not in an environment that I think we can say, right? So I would rather be safe. There is a 8 hour uh fair 8 hour supply here, 8 hour supply here, which I think odd will start acting weak, so it can be good to target that also. But even if that happens, I see something like this. Uh, but my point being, I would rather, because we are so down, like look at, we are so near the demand or support, I would rather be safe. And with safety comes the zones that I look at with safety is this one and here, right? So depending on how we move up, I will choose one of those. Similarly with GBP USD, I really like the zone here. This has weekly confluence, monthly confluence, and the supply is awesome, right? So I do think if we go up, there can be some movement back down. Will it break low? I don't know. I think it is possible, but again, there is these patterns all over the chart that I would rather stay safe. So if I want to short this, I would let a bounce happen, and this is the zone I would really care about. Then let's look at GBPNZD. Again, we had this massive move here, right? Massive move. We're here, and one area which has great confluence for me is this zone, this daily zone, right? So with respect to this daily here, right? It can GBP did act strong. Will it break the high? Maybe, maybe not. I would like to take my 2 hour or 3 hour. I would like to get out. This is the region which I really, this zone is the one which I really care about. Again, it can do this, it can do this. I would like to capture this, which should be 2 hour for me, right? If it really moves down, I would be safe. It's one of those low volume days, but low volume weeks. But this is the zone I really care about. So odd CHF, Australian dollar CHF. This is the part which I was saying. This pattern is everywhere. I love this chart. The reason I love this chart is because I do believe Australian dollar will start acting weaker than New Zealand dollar. But more importantly, there's this monthly area here, this weekly block here, and a daily supply here. So this would be a good shot here. Again, be careful with respect to, like, would you like to say that, oh, it can go below this? Yes, that's fine. But after that, be safe. So I think this zone is great. There's weekly confluence, monthly confluence. So I would keep an eye on this. And again, this is what I said about CHF pairs. There's a uh, great pattern on every CHF pair almost. And so I think every CHF pair may do that. So the probability is higher that way. So GBP CHF, same thing, right? And why I love this chart is equal lows here. Now there was a weekly block here, so can it bounce like this? Sure, but I do think that the probability of that is lower, and the reason I say that is you will have to break all this demand or fair value gap. Sorry, not demand, supply, and not supply also. The right thing would be value gap, fair value gap. So there's this block here which can act. There's this demand which can act as supply now. So this is what I would think of, that you cannot most probably break this region, and there is equal lows. So most probably I see something like this. And according to that, I will try to place my 2RR. Why I think there would be initial bounce is because we went through this block, right? So this block can give some bounce, and that's where I would like to short. So again, if you see common pattern with CHF pairs, so I would say CHF is also like very important, keeping an eye on CHF pairs. There's a common pattern all on all names, right? Uh, so let's go with GBP odd. Odd NZD has been acting weak, so there can be reversal, as I said. So if it comes down, I do think this below this weekly area would be good. So below this weekly area, there's this daily and there's this daily, right? So if it comes in this region, that's where I would enter, because then even if you say, oh, it cannot break the high and it comes till here or here, then at least I can get my 2RR, right? If it if I try to enter with this daily block, daily demand, right? Like let's say, right? The problem with that is maybe I will not get my 2RR unless you're very confident that it can break this, right? And right now, I'm not feeling confident with that, right? So I would rather let it come in this region, and try to target this uh, to get my 2RR. So let's look at USD CHF. Again, what I love about CHF is this similar pattern. And let me try to delete. Ah, yeah. So delete it. So look at this weekly area, right? I'm already in this trade. This weekly area is awesome. On futures, this looks awesome. So if there is a down move, I think what you will see is something like this, right? So that's what I think. And I think if you're playing this on the weekly chart, uh, sorry, basically you can play this on the weekly chart. So it can come here somewhere here in, like, it may take few days, but if you want to swing, you may target that. But the good thing which I want to say is, let's say there's a bounce here, right? You have equal lows here also. So now you see the strongest currencies, GBP CHF and USD CHF. Basically, GBP and USD both have equal lows, right? So there is this pattern which I wanted to show you and explain to you that why that's important, right? With respect to uh, NZDCHF, I think if you respect the patterns that you saw on all the charts, this is a good one. But what happens is there's less risk to reward, right? So what I would like to see is there would be some action like this. Let's say, then if it comes back here, then I would like to short it, right? So that's what I would like to see with respect to NZD I would not blindly just short it. That's my plan. Uh, So I do think it may follow a similar pattern. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find something. Yeah, so for me, I wanted to go a little more below and then bounce and then I would short. But the good thing right now is, let's say it comes here in this region and get some rejection, you have a little long wick of candle which can attract price to go down, right? So that's what my belief is with respect to CHF, NZD CHF. NZD USD, I think there's a good chance of reversal. I think this is a great weekly area. So what with respect to NZD USD and NZD CAD, what I really want to see is, do I get a signal from NZD pairs on daily to for a reversal and then I will trade it. I would not short it unless there's a good bounce in this region. But I don't see much risk to reward. So that's why I'm trying to refrain myself from giving that idea. But my point of view there would be that if I get a good signal of reversal, NZD has some fundamentals aligning for a good reversal. So what I'm trying to say is, like, if there's a reversal signal on daily, I would like to trust it and play that. Um, so that's kind of it, guys. There are some names again. You can always look into those where I think, like, for example, gold also is good uh in terms of supply here. So there can be a bounce here, right? And you can get a down move. The reason why it's not like one of my priority is because of the trend. If you look at monthly, the trend is strong, right? We didn't have even one monthly down close candle. So I would rather be safe there. If it was weekly, like I did say this zone because we were playing weekly and we had weekly down close candles, right? So I think it's being choppy here. I would like to be safe. And if NZD odd reverses in the coming weeks, these names can bounce too. The second thing is, look at this monthly, right? So it's weekly just bounce from there a little bit. I do think it can test back, but if you want to play with trend, silver has been more weak. If it continues to be more weak during the week, then there is a daily zone here. So I would, which has some confluence. So I would like to short in this region, right? If I short, then I would rather short silver than gold. We have a weekly down close also, but we bounce from this region. There can be a good bounce, and then I will short. That's silver. And I thought I added it, but I would like to share this YM and NQ. Basically, we are bouncing from a weekly demand. This block is a risky one here, right? Can it go straight up? Yes. But I mean, not straight up, but break this, yes, but I would rather be safe. So my thought process in those things would be like, let's go to the daily, right? Yeah. So let's say you're targeting this. So my thought process is, where is it bouncing from? Here, right? So something like, where's the long? Let's say here, here, here. What am I getting? 2 RR, right? Little bit more. So that's it. Like something like this. That's what I'm thinking with YM and similar patterns on all. But I wanted to show that, basically point out these bounces on all these names are not happening, are not because of any particular, like because of they're happening because of an important zone and you should know about it. But if you see ES and NQ, they had like a weekly down close candle, right? But so you will have to play this on monthly. So YM has this nice monthly where we never had a down close candle, right? So that's where you should focus on and be careful about that. So that would be ES and YM and NQ. Look at this ES. It's also bouncing from a monthly level, right? So that's my point. Like, if you want to go long, I would rather go long with ES and NQ, and I would say that the best one would be an ES and YM because I think they are better in terms of the chart. And I think if we can hold this weekly, like let's say we have a week here or here, like a long low week, there's a good chance we even break all-time high next month. So this would be a swing trade. Uh, that's all I can say about this. So these are some of the charts which I really like. These are the zones which I really like. I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned something. At least my plan is set. I hope this helps with your planning for the week. If it does, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. If it doesn't, please comment why it doesn't, and I will try to improve according to the feedback given. All right, guys, have a good trading week. Be careful. All the best. Thanks, everyone.